Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. You know the usual, like, subscribe if there's anything that you like on here. And yep, let's get straight into this. Now this is my damage build. It is ridiculously high damage. I'll show you the two different types of weapons I use on this in a minute, but let's get through it. So basically my main weapon, this always stays on, is my AK. Now this is almost god rolled. I'm still looking for the absolute god rolled one, obviously. But it's got the 6% damage to armor, 19.5% health damage, and 13% assault rifle damage. Now, do not underestimate health damage and damage to armor in this game, even though they nerfed a few things and buffed some others. Do not underestimate it, especially with assault rifles. Now, this one is modded in a very specific way. We have critical hit chance. We have the linked laser for a very specific reason. And we have critical hit chance again, and then the 20 rounds. Yes, I lose 10% reload speed, but I've whacked that up on my watch anyway to compensate that at the moment, so I'm still only a 2-second reload speed. We're using strained, gain 10% critical hit damage for each 0.5 second you are firing, and stacks up to 5 times, so an extra 50% critical hit damage. This is better on slower firing guns, which is why I'm using it on an AK. If you use it on something like a CTAR or a FAMAS or something like that, you don't get the full effect because your mag is gone by the time you finish firing. This one gets the most bullets at the highest damage. So yes, it has slightly lower damage per second, but the damage over time is higher, the sustained damage, which is why we use it that way. I'm using it on an AK. I'm actually looking for a really good parafoul to use it on. I haven't found one yet because that's slightly more stable. But yep, very good gun. Use it a lot. The next one I'm using this at the moment. It's getting buffed back up. If you hadn't heard, the M1A, it has dropped down in damage. So this will go back up to like 350, 400k damage a shot. I use it for my long range. Critical hits have a 50% chance to return the bullet's magazine. If it does so, the magazine next shot has 40% increased damage. It procs surprisingly a lot on the the critical hit chance that I have. So this one's got critical hit damage on, critical hit damage, and 5 rounds. I am running at 58.9% critical hit chance, 124% critical hit damage, 65% headshot, 14 armor damage, and 30% health damage. These are the big stats that no one seems to realise. Okay, absolutely brilliant. I would use them all day. But let's get straight into the build. The other one that I use with this is, believe it or not, the Pestilence. So the Pestilence, at the moment, mine's hitting at 102.8k. Not god rolled, as you can see, but it has got the 11% damage to target out cover and 6% damage to armor, 13% LMG, and that does Plague of Outcast. Hits a player debuffed, dealing 100% damage over 10 seconds, stacks up to 50 times. That's just hits. And when an enemy dies, all stacks are transferred to a near enemy within 25 meters. So I use that a lot because I've got a lot of damage. So if you imagine 102.8k per bullet, you hit them 50 times. Not hard to do. It's quite easy to keep this under control, to be honest. And then stack up to 50 times. So that's up to 5,000% damage. People are bleeding for 500, 600, 700k damage when you stack this up properly. And it keeps transferring, and you can shoot a few of them. Your friends kill them. It transfers to someone else. Stacks up. Absolutely brilliant for those, especially things like elites where you can just stack it and stack it and stack it. Really good gun. So I use either that or the classic M1A. Now, this is yet again a very specific setup. So I've got a Hollow Man. I wish I'd had critical hit damage on where weapon handling is, but unfortunately this had a really low weapon damage roll. So I had to put the weapon damage up. It's got the 10% health damage, which is what we really want. 11.5% weapon handling, we want that to be critical hit damage, and I put an 11% critical hit damage in there. So if I'd add another 11-12% critical hit damage there, you can see where I'm going with this. Next one, this piece is needed. Right, I'm running assault rifle, so I get my 10% assault rifle damage. I'll tell you how I'm going to improve this soon, but this is what you need. So it's got 13 weapon damage, 11 critical hit damage, 5-1 critical hit chance, and 11% critical hit damage. Those, of course, if those stats were higher, this would be a better build. The big main part of this is spotter. This amplifies, which means it's actually multiplicative damage, not added damage, all skill damage and weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. And because I've got the linked laser on, anyone I aim at is pulsed. So you automatically get 15% damage. You don't have to do like Obliterate where it stacks up, which by the way, Obliterate is worse than Spotter because it's additive damage, not multiplicative. So this actually really ramps your damage up a lot. So Spotter to me is one of the greatest greatest damage talents in the game right now. People are sleeping on it because you have to go with a tactician and all this kind of stuff. But I've not got an issue with that because when I'm fighting in the legendary etc. or the raids and I've got to hit a dog, dogs have health damage mainly. So or Razorback has health damage. So I'm spotting them. I get extra health damage. I get extra 15% damage from tactician to dogs and robotics. Honestly, it all adds up. It's a really, really, really good talent. Now, what I'm looking for is a Yule piece with 2 reds, because they all come with a blue and start. So I'd have to have critical hit chance and damage and spotter. It's extremely hard to find, but if I can find that, I'll explain why. I get an extra 5% weapon damage, you can see there. If I could do that and change my backpack to a Fenris with Unstoppable Force, then I'd be absolutely golden. I'm not bothered about this headshot damage here. I'm not bothered about it. I'm just, if I get a headshot, great, but 10% really isn't all that much to me on this build. So this one's got weapon damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and more critical hit damage. As you can see, this is exactly how I should be modding it. My critical hit chance is high enough that I can just stack critical hit damage for more damage. And Unstoppable Force. So killing an enemy, increase total weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Keeps refreshing. Each time you kill someone, it refreshes the time back up. The reason I say to use the Pestilence is for that exactly. You can shoot somebody, kill them, the plague goes across onto them, you can start shooting somebody else without the plague, they die from the plague, and in that time you've got 3 stacks already, because that plague will kill somebody, you stack it that high. Yet again, the plague goes again, and by the time all those plagues are going off, you're always at that stack. Always. So it's an additional 25% damage. It's additive. It's not multiplicative, and it's additive to your weapon, but it's still, yet again, in my opinion, the best in-slot offensive talent for backpack. As I said, I'd like that to be Fenris with these kind of stats, slightly higher, and then get the Yule chest piece, and I could really, that would be the top level on this. We're using contractor's gloves as well. Yes, they cut it in half, but this is still a very good one. I'm looking for a higher one. I've got a 15% one here, but it's got a really low critical hit chance. I could use that, and I've got one here which I could put the higher critical hit chance. In fact, that's what we will do. We'll go and do that, and we can actually increase our damage by another 1.1%. Okay, it's not amazing, is it? But it's more, so we will do that. So that's going to get changed to a 6% critical hit chance. Keep myself up there. Knee pads, yeah, you want one group of Sombre on here for the 15% critical hit damage. Then, of course, you can see there I'm God rolled nearly on that. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to keep that all day. And you also want one piece of Seska for the 10% critical hit chance. Yet again, almost God rolled. The damage on this is immense. It really, really is. Now, what I'm going to do right now is go and actually put that critical hit chance on, save this. And this is going to be the new gloves for this. So, yep, we'll put that on. It's an extra 1%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, it all works. So, I'll go and show you what kind of damage this AK does for this. It's obviously the range is the range. It's not going to be amazing. It's not going to be exactly as it should be. But let's give it a go and just see where we are. So that's elites, you're dead in less than half a mag, as you can see there. And we'll do it on body. On body, yeah. See that, 18 shots, 19 shots and they're dead. Nothing, 16 shots, dead. on elites. Now if we change it to named and go in on the heads, 1 mag. You can see that there. Less than a mag, and we are killing elites with headshots. Yep. Just over half a mag, named enemies dead on body. You'll see it there, 750k, 725k. This is an AR hitting at 750,000 without any group buffs. This is solo. With group buffs, I've seen this hit nearly 1 million. Bear in mind, if your watch is higher as well, I don't have the critical hit damage on this watch and I don't have the weapon damage on this watch, so you can really stack all that up. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Speak to you soon.